question to you, Abul Kasem, would be what policy role would you advocate that the government ought to look at? And I know the government has made great strides in the past. Despite all the challenges that we have had as a developing country, the government has made quite a few strides. There's no doubt about it. But what would you nevertheless think that the government ought to do better, starting with perhaps ease of doing business? Everything doesn't matter what we talk about, even if we are talking about infrastructure, ease of doing business comes to play. So what would you say some of the specific policy reforms that the government ought to look at? Over to you, Abul Kasem.
If you take into account the requirement that Bangladesh needs, I'll just give you a figure. If you take, say, 6-7% of your GDP, you need to invest in infrastructure. You're talking about a huge amount of money to be invested. So I'll just give an example. Now we are investing about $6 to $8 billion, and we require about $18 to $20 billion in investment into infrastructure. And if you take into account a 10-year span, then you're talking about close to, we estimated a figure of $320 billion into just infrastructure. Where will this money come from? Obviously, government is a big investor. As I mentioned, private sector can be engaged. Third is foreign direct investment.
Absolutely.
If you look at Bangladesh's foreign direct investment, we have not been able to attract, despite good policies, despite all the efforts that we have made, we have not attracted good investment into infrastructure. So this is something Bangladesh needs to sell, given its opportunities and its growth trajectory and its growth success stories for the last 10 years. We need to brand Bangladesh, we need to sell Bangladesh to the right people. And if you just take into account the investment into infrastructure, we are talking about $20 billion a year. And if you take foreign investment coming, 50% of that, you can get $10 billion of foreign investment into Bangladesh. And just see, if these investments come into Bangladesh, how the entire Bangladesh economy will change. If you invest $10-20 billion on infrastructure, the whole landscape of Bangladesh will change. Our economic activities will accelerate. So you will see a revolutionary change. And with the policy that has been so successful by the Honorable Prime Minister, that the foundation has been laid. Now we need to jumpstart the economy to move it to, if you put it in acceleration mode. We need to accelerate our GDP growth. We need to go beyond 10%. There was a report that Bangladesh needs to actually grow by 10% to really accelerate its economic prosperity.